It's another beautiful Sunday afternoon. This is Rubbing Minds. Welcome. My name is Ebuka Obiuchi and we're glad to have you here today. As I always say, we're talking about the ASUU strike again. It's day 133 of the ASUU strike, 133 days since Nigerian students have been at home. We did hear something that seemed like some good news, or at least hope, that the strike would end next week. We don't know if that is authoritative or not. But I also saw in the papers today a quote from the Benue State governor, who's sort of been in charge of all of these negotiations between the government and ASUU. And he said something along the lines of the fact that the ASUU is on strike because they're trying to sabotage government. I don't know how comments like that would affect this strike, because, I mean, a lot of tempers have been flared, a lot of people are standing their ground, and we know that we want to soft pedal a lot of things. And this sort of talk, I don't know if it's going to help or mar these negotiations that are going on. I mean, 133 days in the life of anybody is a lot, not to talk of the life of students in university. Hopefully, by next week, as they have said, or at least have insinuated, we will have good news for you, and Nigerian students would have been back to school by then. On to some sad news. There was a report from Kano State that members of the Boko Haram sect and the Nigerian army clashed, and about 7 people were killed during the week. It's still a developing story, so we don't know the exact facts of who were killed and if the number is accurate or not. But I mean, lives have been lost again. Insecurity is still a big problem. We also hear that the state of emergency is going to be extended in 3 states in the northeastern part of Nigeria. Mr. President has asked for a 6-month extension, and some governors have not been very receptive of that, but it's going to happen as we see. And we hope that by the end of all of that, I mean, we see some sort of peace in that part of Nigeria. On to what would be a very interesting scenario in the week coming up is the Anambra elections. It's supposed to be holding on Saturday, November the 16th. And a lot has been happening in the last week. So many permutations. We now know that Mr. Tony Nwoye is the candidate for the PDP. He was endorsed by the vice president and the party chairman, Bamanga Tukur, and he will be running in the platform of the PDP. And there's a lot happening there. So many permutations. People have said the APC is in charge. Some say the APGA is still going to win it. PDP is not resting on their oars. There's also the Labour Party with Ifeanyi Ubah, who is also pushing through. But don't forget that there's a town hall meeting / governorship debate which will be holding at 5 o'clock today. That's about 2 hours from now on Channels TV. So please tune in for that. All of the governorship aspirants will be there to tell Anambarians and, of course, Nigerians what they plan to do in the 4 years ahead if they actually win the election. So that should be very interesting to see how that turns out. Very good news that happened, of course, during the week was the victory of the Golden Eaglets in Dubai, sorry, in the United Arab Emirates. Nigeria's Golden Eaglets won the Under-17 World Cup for the 4th time, and they did it in grand style. I mean, I can't say it enough. As you can see the smile on my face, a lot of Nigerians are very excited and happy at how well these boys played. And a lot of people have said that it's been the best, or the youngest, on the 17 side we've had in a while. So the future does look bright for us. Still talking about sports, on Saturday, the Super Eagles will be playing their final leg in the playoffs for the World Cup in Brazil 2014. So we wish them all the best, and we hope that by the time we're here next Sunday, we'll be smiling, of course, and talking about moving to Brazil for the World Cup. But we're going to start the show now. I have a lot for you. We're going to be talking about the state of the nation with 3 young Nigerians who have a lot to say. Of course, it's going to be a very interesting show. Please do stay with us.
If you want to know what's trending or you miss your favorite live shows, you can watch it all on our YouTube channel. Simply log on to www.youtube.com/channelsweb. Scroll down to your favorite program and click play. You can also view all uploaded videos by clicking on View All. Don't forget to subscribe and get the latest videos. If they are interesting, like them and be heard. Get connected with the Channels Television YouTube page. The news at your fingertips.
Every day as they happen, opinions arise.
I lost money in Africa. Sanusi said he couldn't care about the shareholder. Is that possible?
For and against, they have to be heard.
The government of this dispensation has made a very strong commitment.
Yet, bomb keeps going on every day. People are dying, and we are talking grammar.
Unfiltered.
You are the worst advertisement of the product you are trying to pick.
Uninhibited.
People are contravening and contradicting traffic rules.
And issues are laid bare.
This is what is called in psychology narcissism. Is worse than megalomania.
And the weight decided by you. Face Off. Wednesdays 8 to 9 p.m. only on Channels Television.
It's decision time for the people of Anambra, a time to seek answers from those jostling to lead the state for the next 4 years. What are the yearnings of Anambrarians? What does the nation's second most densely populated state urgently need? Watch the Anambra Governorship Town Hall conversation as 4 major candidates discuss their plans and answer questions that are important to the development of the state. Anambra Governorship Town Hall conversation live on Channels Television from the Emmaus Place, Awka, this Sunday, November the 10th, 2013.
Say, hey, hey, G, hey, E, we represent, hey, hey, G, E, what else, what else, C, come on, come on, come on, C, just let's go, so let's dance now, it is my turn, just want what you are, I am ready for your action, just want what you are, you should cut off all distractions.
Welcome back. Now, we're going to be talking about the state of the nation. There's a lot to talk about. Nigeria has been a very dramatic space in the last couple of months. In fact, weeks or even days. I mean, a day in Nigeria is quite interesting. And we'll have here 3 young men who are going to be sharing their opinions with me here. E. Aboyaji, CEO Fora.ng. You're very welcome. Thanks for being here today. Tokbe Atiba is a lawyer.
Thank you.
Thanks for being here today. And Dada Olusegun, social commentator. How are you doing? Now, I saw a tweet yesterday from an essay to the Minister of Sports, Ohimai Amaize. He said something along the lines of that if government had reformed sports and power and more to come. I think he was talking about, the Super Eagles had won the Nations Cup, the Golden Eagles had won the Under-17, and things along those lines. And it got me thinking, do you agree? Let's start with power now. Do you think we're on the right path?
Well, I think the issue with power really, first of all, let's start with the commendations, right? The privatization process has taken place, and that process is complete. But I think that a big kind of factor in the whole equation would be how the government handles transmission, right? So I think the government announced a $4 billion or Naira investment in transmission, because at the end of the day, right, if we can't put power on the grid, then it's probably all the investments in power would literally take longer to generate. And then the other thing is gas. So if you can't find gas to generate power, then most of the investments in power would likely be lost. So I think, privatization is just the beginning. So I don't think, or he should probably not be beating his chest too much, because the process just started. So, the government shouldn't be too celebratory, but definitely, getting the process to end, after 13 long years, it's been 2000 since we started the process, is impressive.
Do you agree? I mean, a lot of Nigerians, I saw the next day after the handover happened, I think it was on the 30th of October, 31st. Yeah. On the 1st of November, I saw interviews and people were complaining that they had not had light for the whole day. I think a lot of Nigerians expected the switch to be automatic. How patient should we be going on from here?
Well,
is this still a very long road?
First and foremost, I think I would also like to commend the president and the government on getting us to this point. Nigerians should not expect a miracle, like something happening immediately and all that. I think we should just give the government some time. I've come to see, if you look at what happened in the telecommunications sector, the private guys came in, and then after some time, let's say a year, we want to make money. It's a capitalist world. The capitalists want to make money, and the only way to make money is to deliver the service. So let's give them some time. And as I said, the distribution is another key thing. Once both sides can, find a way to work seamlessly, I'm sure this thing is going to work out fine. I hope nothing else comes. This is Nigeria. Yeah. We're still skeptical. We cannot guarantee anything as of now, but I'm sure we're on the right path.
I hear that comparison a lot with the telecoms boom. Is it a fair comparison to make with power and the way telecoms was handled in 2001?
I think the telecoms
when licenses were sold,
when they were sold, it was independent of the government.
Yeah.
But I think this power reforms thing is not. So, I'm good.
I've really seen that a lot of these grids are old.
Yeah, they are old.
Being sold,
Before people like Ohimai start counting their eggs before it's hatched, they should actually calm down and let us see where this goes to. we cannot continue. Sincerity of purpose is very important in everything that needs to be done. Does government have the sincerity when they should give Nigerians a proper time? Let them give us a specific time when, okay, guys, we have been on this thing for 14 years, okay, it's just, we're almost there, give us so amount of time. It's not the usual, in 3 months time, there will be power stability. By June, you start smiling, and you throw your generators out, and all these stories we keep hearing.
Please don't throw your generators out.
You know, the funny thing is that the government can no longer really give you a time frame.
Because it's not in their hands
It's no
anymore.
longer in their hands.
Even
And
if
trust
it was,
me,
even if
you
it
know,
was.
you know, from, at least from some of the statistics that I've seen, let's say we have a generating capacity of a bit over 6,000, thereabout. Presently, we are putting out about 2,900. Do you understand? So it's not as if we don't have the capacity to generate more than we're doing now, but it's not being done because of transmission most of the time, and then because of gas. You hear there's a problem with the gas pipeline and all that. Now that the private investors are coming in, trust me, I believe that a lot of change is going to happen, and I'm positive. If this is the only thing I will commend the government on this show, I'm positive about it. Give or take.
A lot of people have said that if power is reformed, that it would be President Jonathan's trick for 2015. Do you think if this is fixed by next year, like if power becomes almost stable, do you think he's won 2015?
It's not a trick for me. No, it doesn't work.
It would be a very good argument for 2015. It wouldn't be the only argument. I actually think, I don't think 2015 is going to be an issues-driven election. So, like, I'm fairly sure about that. So I'm not, like, I think it would be kind of a trick to say that, you know, because he
it's a big campaign material for him to use. But since, let's switch gears now to 2015. I mean, we talked about the Anambra elections, which is coming up on Saturday. It's going to probably be like, give us a sort of a highlight of how this new party, the APC, is going to fare in 2015. What do you think is going to happen in 2015? There's a lot of noise. There's 7 governors. There's a new PDP. There's PDP. There's APC. There's all of this. What are you looking? What do you think is going to happen? You already said it's not going to be an issues-driven election. So what is it going to be?
Definitely not going to be an issues. I think it's going to be, you know, divisions-driven. Sadly, but that's just the fact. It's going to be driven by religion and ethnicity, and everyone's going to be making their geopolitical calculations with the general idea that the North should get power back, and obviously the PDP. When Jonathan
finally
declares, right? It's basically going to be kind of like a North-South thing. But I think one of the really interesting kind of things that APC seems to be underestimating is how prepared they need to be for 2015 to actually work. So I actually find it very odd that they haven't kind of settled on a presidential candidate that they can start pushing as a major opposition figure. I mean, the Buhari trick might work again. I doubt it. I think the geopolitical calculations are a lot more, you know, they're going to be a lot more, need to be a lot more careful about it. You know, the Muslim card is getting thrown around, so they're definitely going to have to watch that. And obviously, you know, it's kind of a tight, you know, political equation for them, because even though it's kind of the first time the Northeast and the Southwest are getting together to support the same candidate since Abiola, you still have that issue of, you know, they need to be able to present a national candidate, a national ticket. And I think that's going to be very difficult for them to do.
There was a lot of drama over the last week with the APC going to the 7 governor states, trying to buy them over or whatever it was, and they didn't get any word in particular. But what do you think is going to happen with those 7 governors? Because they seem to be very key to 2015 now.
We need to understand something about those 7 governors. I would like to see a situation whereby the 7 governors defect to APC. Forget PDM, I don't think they're in the picture. I'd like to see them defect to APC, but let's ask ourselves, how many of these 7 governors are coming back for a second term? What is their weight really on the ground? They will definitely influence things. They will make the odds better for APC, you know, in their states, but really APC still needs to do its homework. And I know that the 7 governors, even if they defect to APC, they will not just come free of charge and say, okay, we are coming home and all that. They probably want to bring cards like, we're presenting the vice president, we're presenting this. So this is going to be like a merger of strange bedfellows that we all hope will work. But at the same time, I believe it can work. And if it works, if they come to APC, then good luck, Jonathan. If he decides to come back, which I also still pray and believe that the president can be, you know, a bit magnanimous enough to not come out to contest.
That is your opinion.
My personal opinion, to not come out to contest in 2015. You know, the 7 governors coming will be a real big one for him to surmount.
Do you think it's going to be the closest run election this country has ever seen?
Well,
or are we just excited over nothing?
If you ask me, 2015 is going to be a very interesting year. For me, I think the G7 governors coming to APC is a bit, I don't know, overrated. Because for me, this is my personal opinion right now. I'll take 5 million people's entrances to the APC over the G7 governors. But there's a way they run the politics in this country. No, there's a way the politics is run in this country. Okay, we want the state structures of the G7 governors and all that. Every of these governors have a specific interest they're fighting for, apart from the fact that there is a joint interest for them. Probably they don't want Jonathan back in government and all that stuff. But every one of them has their personal grievances.
Agenda.
If these personal grievances can be addressed, I don't see. I think it might result into a stack of cards falling over at the end of the day. I think the APC, as for me, the merger, the alliance of the APC already has given Nigerians the opportunity to have choice. There was a time, I don't know, if this merger had not happened, we probably would still be in the bush of 2011, where we had the CPC, the ACN, this one is a Yoruba party, this one is an Igbo party, this one is a this party, and this one.
But is it really different now?
No,
it's not different. The same point. For the first
it's
time,
just bigger blocks of tribe.
It's different.
For the first time, we're going to be having the Northeast, Northwest, Southwest coalition. If the Anambra elections go the way of APC, it will change a whole lot of calculations, a whole lot of dynamics all over again.
No, but it will. Let's check something. I heard something.
You think it will go the way of APC?
I heard something.
I don't say it will go the way of APC. I'm saying if it goes the way of APC.
I heard something for the first time today.
Party? I think that's the first question.
It is a national party.
I don't know.
As now, the APC is a national party. The APC is well represented in every state.
Looks like it's well.
No. The APC, I can conveniently tell you, is well represented in every state. You know, I was in Anambra some time back, and despite the okay, fine, we know that they have some big guns in Anambra due to the elections, but you know, in some really deep corners of Anambra, you know, some places behind Nnewi, you know, all those kind of places, you see the APC, maybe like a APC office and everything. I'm like, really?
But an office an indication of
no, that means that at least they hold meetings there.
One thing we always forget, as much as we might like to think of PDP as whatever it is, they are a very national party.
Yeah, in Africa, no doubt.
It's going to be tough fight regardless of how you want to look at it.
I don't know. I don't.
The question was, is APC a national party?
Okay.
And I can categorically tell you that the APC is a national party.
I was at a town hall meeting for the APC young people just this last week, and I saw young people from all over the country. They were even putting on their costumes, their traditional costume attires. Naturally, I went as the normal. I sat on the panel and I was seeing people dressed in even from the south, from the southeast, from the southwest, every part of the country. I'm not holding brief for the APC that it is as national as it should be, but I am saying that it has been able to cut across every geopolitical zone, and for me that's big.
And that's
so you don't agree? Why don't you agree?
I mean, you're going to think about a national party in three senses, right? Where is their funding coming from? Who has the most influence in the party? And what is the, who is the most influential person in every region? You can make the argument for the PDP very easily, right? You know, their funding comes from all over. You know, governors in every pocket, every geopolitical zone, they have at least one governor or more, right? The APC, the funding mostly comes from the Southwest. I mean, it's fairly obvious, right?
Really?
It's not fairly obvious.
No,
they have governors in the north. They have one governor in the north.
One governor.
They have
one governor in the north.
One governor in the southeast. They have
one governor in the southeast.
Yeah, Imo State. Yeah.
Imo State. Okay. Well, I mean, let's be honest. The majority of the funding is coming from the southwest. So, from that perspective,
you know, the funny thing
it's
about
not a national
funding.
party.
The funny thing about funding is that, come 2015 or 2014, should APC throw its bank accounts open and ask for people to participate, a lot more people will be eager to contribute money to APC's pocket to fight the PDP.
That's never going to work
in quotes. I'm just saying. I'm just saying.
Why do you say it's not going to
work?
In 2011, I paid 500 naira for a Buhari t-shirt.
I volunteered free of charge.
Okay.
Free of charge, despite the fact that I was going through probably the most hectic period in my educational life, to work for no rebuttal, just simply because of the fact that I believed in the gentleman. Do you understand?
Okay, but you talked about your educational life now. We have to switch gears now to education. It's the big elephants that everybody knows as we're talking about.
Yeah.
The ASU strike. It's, like I said, it's 133 days now. And I don't know, it's almost getting tired and boring to talk about it, but it's very painful.
It is.
What is going on?
I am very disappointed that the debate has kind of stayed surface level, because I work in education, so we run online education. We're literally taking lots of kids, giving lots of kids access to courses from all the best universities in the world. And one of the big problems is, like, we haven't talked about university autonomy in this ASU strike. We haven't talked about structural reform of universities. We haven't talked about incentivizing universities to actually deliver value. All we've talked about is $220 billion, $450 billion naira. And I think, pumping more money, or promising to pump more money into education, is a surefire way for current reforms in education to fail, because there's going to be no accountability for that money. We're not going to see results. Currently we're spending a lot of money right now on Nigerian students, but we're not seeing results. And they're very small structural changes that many times don't even cost money when you look at the education system in Nigeria, that can really improve outcomes. Where all our universities are under capacity, we only have 1.2 million students in school, and we have incredible demand for higher education. And we're sending $10 billion every year abroad, because our kids can't get education in Nigeria, so they go spend $3 billion in Ghana. So I think I think from that point of view, I would have liked to see a more robust debate, or a more robust discussion about higher education policy in this country, beyond just the money.
Do you think it's possible to have that discussion now, or is it right to have it now with all of this happening, or should this happen then we can have that discussion? Or let's just have everything at once, since we're at home anyways.
Well, honestly speaking, at this stage, it seems as if the ASU strike it's in its last days. It seems as if it's in its last days. I must say that I'm very much disappointed in the government. The arguments will come in. I'm very much disappointed in the government. Any government that would watch children or students, not children anymore, students, stay at home for 4 months is insensitive. At this stage, it's very insensitive. That's one. Now, those arguments should have come in earlier. But yes, we've not had them. It's not yet too late. You can still have them. I don't believe that the government is going to release 220 billion thereabout yearly and not monitor it. It's not possible.
They did it last time. They already did.
No, my only fear is the person that heads the Ministry of Education, if he's capable of doing it.
No, they already did it. They built hostels for 2 million naira or something ridiculous, a hostel. They're already doing it. The last time they released money, no one tracked it. All the money frittered away. We still have the same results. We still have the same quality.
Whose fault is that?
You see,
it can't just be the government, though.
Definitely not. But when you're releasing,
it can't just be the government.
When you are releasing,
how much of the blame is the government? How much of the blame is the university? Right?
And the universities can't.
When you're releasing money,
okay. For me, I think the government made an agreement with ASU in 2009.
It was a ridiculous agreement.
I don't care. They made an agreement. They signed in 2010.
Who cares?
Were you prejudiced in any way? When it signed,
was the president?
Yeah. As far as I'm concerned, okay, you want education reforms. Let us discuss on.
Why didn't you push for it?
University autonomy. Fine. Listen, go on with this agreement first. Then we have these discussions later. You can't keep putting students at home and expect us.
I'm personally affected, I must say.
When in Ghana, in the UK, Nigerian students are all over the world, scattered all over the world. Going to universities, fine. Let us have these discussions, but let the students go back to school first. Give us what it wants. I don't care how it goes. You signed the agreement. Ridiculous, not ridiculous. You signed the agreement. It's as simple as that.
Shegu, I won't say much, but do you know what it feels like to be doing your postgraduate and you're at home for 4 months?
I spent an extra year and a half in university. Because of strikes. So
postgraduates?
I was in university.
No, you know what I'm asking? Do you know how many I spent about that in my undergraduate days? Internal crisis, ASU strike, everything.
There was an ASU strike that was about 6 months.
About 6 months
when I was in university.
I lost about a year plus 2 strikes. Now you are going through your postgraduate again. Your friends that left in January are done with their coursework and they're writing their thesis.
Yeah.
I have a friend, when you know people one-on-one, these students, I have a friend, she's been at home literally 4 months complaining. She had to come out to work. Now she's back home again. Yeah. Do you know what these people are? Now that is somebody that even wants to work. A lot of people are just involved in drugs, in fraud, aimless wandering, nothing practical. And you know why that is even more rampant, because this is not a society whereby you can see libraries everywhere, or places where people can make constructive use of their time. And you can blame the government for all of this.
And as far as I'm concerned, it's not the business of the students if the government decides not to track the funding it puts into the university.
None of our business.
The biggest. Why should
I agree. Why should
they be the biggest?
The students should go back to school, but someone needs to be advocating for the students, because the truth of the matter is this, right? We're going to be back here in another 2 years.
Why?
Yeah,
trust me, we're going to be back here.
Why in particular? Why?
There are 2 reasons why. They're gonna need more money, right? They're gonna need more money because there's no autonomy for schools, right? And we're gonna have the exact same results as we had now. And as we continue along that trend, we're losing more and more kids. We're having a university system that is constricted because it's not at capacity. Our universities are operating like refineries. They are 20% capacity. They can take more students. They can they can cost the same. Brazil is delivering a quality education to its students, over 2 million students, for $2,000 a year. We're spending $7,000 per student in Nigeria. It sounds unbelievable, but most of it goes to staff salaries. And it's a waste. There's lots of waste in the system, and we're not optimizing that system to work well for Nigerian students. And that's the most important thing. Beyond whether the students go back to school or whether they don't go back to school, if the system isn't fixed, we're going to be back here again in 2 years.
In fact, you can agree to that, but another thing you need to chip in is that we should not talk about this money issue as if the government ASU is asking for something unbelievable. The National Assembly, this year's budget, they had about 150 billion
for education.
No, for themselves.
Okay, for themselves.
This is just about less than 1,000 people or thereabout, and they have that budget. Consider the other side. 469 people, individuals, so we are paying for their own vanity. Now we are talking about the lecturers. Aside that, if you're talking about autonomy for universities, if you're talking about autonomy, that means you're talking about increased school fees.
It's not increased school fees.
It's going to translate into increase. Let me tell you. Let me just tell you something. Consider the prevailing economic circumstances of the average Nigerian. The average Nigerian. People are suffering in this country.
This is what I'm saying.
Listen, hold on. It is easy for us. After probably you come from an average background. Now we know that there's really no middle class. You come from an average background. You're lucky you've gotten a 9 to 5, and it's paying your basic needs. But people, the majority of Nigerians, are finding it hard to even go to state universities.
They're living on
state universities, and now you want a university. I think the federal government should be subsidizing things like education more than any other thing. Healthcare more than any other, and they can afford to do that.
University
you don't
autonomy,
tell me that
university
autonomy
autonomy
at this stage. No,
university autonomy does not mean the government stops subsidizing. What it means is that the universities take care of their finances.
How?
They have financial officers. They take care of their finances and balance their books.
Tell me how it's not going to translate. Tell me how it's not going to translate into higher tuition.
The government gives the student the tuition credit directly. They give you $7,000 and tell you, go to university. Go to any university you want, but the university has to balance their books. And I'm telling you that a quality education in Nigeria will not cost more than $1,000.
Is that a loan? Is that a loan? You're giving
you $7,000.
That'll be wonderful. That'll be wonderful.
I'm telling you that
you think it will work? You think Nigerian students will go?
Let me tell you what happened in.
You think the average Nigerian child will go to school? You're joking.
Let me tell you what happened in my school. I attended Ladoke Akintola University of Technology. When Governor Akala was in government, there was this issue of internal ASU strike, and he said, "Okay, you know what? You want money? You want more money? Okay, go and generate your IGR." Then the next thing they did, they increased the tuition fee from 40 to 115,000 naira.
Mine went from 13,000 to 65,000 naira. How do I do that?
We went on so much rampage, and at the end of the day, the students are paying it right now. I think the APC government has reduced it to something, but that's the way it works.
Okay, we have to move on. We have to move on from this now. I know education is a very passionate.
Call off ASU strike.
Call off ASU strike.
People, no, let people go back to
That's a very good plea. But yeah, we'll have to move on now. Another very hot topic, of course, that's been bugging the nation is the aviation sector. Of course, we have to talk about it before we go now. And
that is dead.
What the probe? I don't know. It's gone quiet. Or is it just me? I don't know.
Ebuka, this is national distraction album. I'm waiting tomorrow morning. I'll just wake up on my way to work and I'll scroll my Twitter timeline and I'm sure I'll see something new, a new scandal. It is almost like a day-to-day thing. But you know why?
So are you saying it's gone?
No. It's not gone. People are still going to talk, and I believe that. You know, I like to give President Goodluck Jonathan the benefit of the doubt, and I believe that the president will, for once, do the right thing. When the National Assembly has come out and said that this person went beyond a budgetary limits in approving something, and you come and tell me that I just signed and I said do the needful. What's the meaning of doing the needful?
Something happened in Ghana.
She just
claimed of Ghana listened to a recording. It was not. They didn't need to go.
Did you read that stuff?
National Assembly and discuss. She was
immediately. Our value system is bad in this country. See, when first of all, I need to ask some questions now. Number one, was the president on annual leave when he traveled to Jerusalem? I'm going somewhere with it. Was he on annual leave when he went to Jerusalem? If not, was the Minister of Aviation also on annual leave? Fine, she went. Maybe they had some things. But was she?
That was state business. That was state business.
For how many days, sir?
It's the state business.
For how many days, sir? No, come on. You know, this sense of urgency is what is lacking in the Goodluck Jonathan administration.
But I'm just saying they could make the argument.
I think the dimension of this scandal that's most interesting to me is the role of Koschari's motors. And as far as I'm concerned, I think even if the minister goes scot-free, you know, at the very least, they shouldn't be allowed to, because clearly they flouted a lot of rules there. So I'm wondering why no one's really talking about that, because, you know, I think at the end of the day, corruption is enabled by the private sector. As far as I'm concerned, our banks wash, our banks launder.
It's not mutually exclusive. It runs pari passu. If the minister did not sanction it, Koschari cannot come and supply cars.
No. The minister did not the Minister of Finance did not sanction those armored cars.
No, Minister of Aviation. You have to approve. You have to approve it before they go and buy. I don't know.
What I'm saying is, clearly somewhere, according to the story we know, Koschari took advantage, right?
No. Why don't you think somebody inflated? Why don't you think somebody inflated the figures, knowing fully well that this is these things are not rocket science. If the minister that heads the parastatal, you understand, will just go online in the morning and say, okay, you want to buy 2 cars, right? You want to buy 2 cars. How much do these things
cost? Go online in the morning.
But I'm just telling you so that you understand how simple and how basic these things are. Not rocket science.
So I just want to ask you guys beyond very quick answer. Do you think she should go?
Yes, she has to go.
Not just go. She should be
prosecuted
in jail somewhere.
She needs to go.
I don't know the facts.
No, she needs to go. I
don't know all the facts.
Well, there's a lot of probe panels. The National Assembly has one. The president has set up one, right?
Let's forget about the probe panel.
So we should get results.
Look, people have left government for plagiarism. Yeah. People have left. Honorable men have left government for alleged plagiarism.
The mayor of Toronto is still there.
Do you understand? You will not tell me.
It's not possible.
She can't stay. She has to go.
Funny thing about this entire thing.
She has to go.
Madam Odua is a government appointee. She's the president appointee. She was not elected.
Of course.
You are bringing debt on your government. The normal thing is to step aside. When your integrity is under question, you step aside and stop embarrassing your government and defend yourself.
You know, as I said, let us be magnanimous to President Goodluck Jonathan. We should not, you know, sometimes the president likes to follow it's the due process. You know, one of those things. It's fine.
Due process.
But she has to go. She has to go.
In my opinion.
Okay, I like the fact that you put that in your opinion.
Yeah.
Just finally now, there's a lot that's happening. I just want to touch on one final thing. Going back to what I started with Ohimai's tweets about sports and power, you know, being reformed. And with sports, I actually laughed when I saw that, because I know this coach of the Super Eagles has been owed for 7 months.
Please let them pick.
And it's a little worrisome considering the fact that all he's done for the country.
This is unfair.
And I heard today that they paid him for 2 months, so there's still 5 left.
No, considering the fact that.
So how do you reform a sector without paying salaries?
It's impossible now. Which kind of reform are you having? You're not paying my salary. You are telling me reform.
Okay, when Nigeria won the under 17 World Cup, I was so happy. We're tweeting and doing the needful and copying some things. Then the next thing I see a tweet from someone, some fellow who says this is a sign of good luck, and I'm like, when did good luck ever? When has good luck ever substituted for hard work? These guys did all credit to NASCOM. Sincerely speaking, the academy has done well for those boys. All credit to them. But don't ever equate it with.
Don't. You know what you should do first and foremost. I commend the minister, Mr. Abdullahi. I commend Ohimai. You know, immediately that day I tweeted and I'm like, Ohimai and Oga Abdullahi, you guys, good one. But please pay Stephen Keshi his wages. It's not
Thank
fair.
you very much, Inyi, for coming.
Fair.
Thank you very much, Tokpe and Shegun. Of course,
wonderful time.
We need like 3 hours for all of this.
Wonderful time.
Thank you very much for being here. When we come back, I have a supermodel in the house with me. Please do stay with us.
It's decision time for the people of Anambra, a time to seek answers from those jostling to lead the state for the next 4 years. What are the yearnings of Anambrarians? What does the nation's second most densely populated state urgently need? Watch the Anambra Governorship Town Hall conversation as 4 major candidates discuss their plans and answer questions that are important to the development of the state. Anambra Governorship Town Hall conversation live on Channels Television from the Emmaus Place, Awka, this Sunday, November the 10th, 2013.
You see, life has just got easier. You stay connected to Channels TV, where news and innovations are shaping our world. Simply log on to channelstv.com to get the breaking news. Browse the homepage according to what matters to you. Tap on the extended coverage of business, sports, politics, lifestyle, infotech, entertainment, health, world news, and lots more. Click on the live link and see the news in real time. Do you want to watch the latest video of the day? It's just a click away. Friend us on Facebook, YouTube, follow us on Twitter, Google+, participate in Channels TV poll, and share your comments. It's a website you can talk to. Your voice will be heard. ChannelsTV.com. The news at your fingertips.
Say, hey, we represent, what else? Come on. Let's go. So let's dance now. It is my turn. Just want what you are. I am ready for your action. Just want what you are. You should cut off all distraction. It's all on you now. And just give me some reaction. Just want what you girl, I like the way you move. Really wanna get with you.
I have the gorgeous supermodel Oluchi. She was just doing her makeup now before we came back on air.
Fixing myself.
How you doing?
Fine. It's nice to be here.
The Oluchi. Now, when I told Oluchi that I was going to have her on the show, she was like, this is your show that you're always asking about who's dating who and whatever. That she doesn't want to come. So I don't have any, you don't have any controversies.
No, really. Absolutely not.
Which is very strange because
Why?
Models have this sort of reputation for being very controversial with like relationships and their personal lifestyle. How have you been able to do that where we don't know anything about you basically besides your family?
I have a work life and then I have a me life. So when I'm not working, I'm pretty much myself. So I just try to keep the two separate. Which is
why do you do that though? Don't you? Because a lot of people say, as a celebrity, most times when you're controversial, your career, it helps your career a bit. Okay. A lot of your colleagues, like Naomi Campbell, are very controversial, and people think that's why they're always like in the news and their career has been where it is.
Listen, Naomi's from a completely different era. She's from the 80s. You know, I've only been doing this for like 12 years, and the models of my generation were very different. We just work and then we go home. It's like very different.
Let's go back to the beginning now, not necessarily talking about. I just remember the day you won the Face of Africa thing. I was watching.
You were?
Yes.
How old were you then?
I'm your age mates. We are age mates, Oluchi.
Oh my God. You know my age?
Yes.
Okay.
It's all over the internet. You're not that anonymous. Okay. But I remember when you won, they said, the winner is Patricia. Her name is Patricia. I know that.
My middle name.
Yeah.
Yes.
And they called you Patricia first. I'm like, who's Patricia? Then they said Oluchi. Yes. You know? And you were young, you were 17.
I'm still young, thank you very much.
You were younger.
Okay.
How has it been for you? Did you expect all of this the way it's happening now?
It's been 13 long years. You know, I won Face of Africa, moved to New York, and just started a modeling career, which I didn't have that much of experience on. So, but so much has happened in the last.
There's a story we heard about you selling bread. Was that true?
Yes.
You were actually you used to hawk bread.
No, actually not hawking. And you know what's so
because
funny?
Because all I heard, I used to carry bread in Sule or something.
No. It was actually my idea to do that.
Oh, okay.
My mom, she works as a nurse, and my dad, like every other father, is civil servant. He worked at, they make news, what is it called? Exercise books for kids.
Okay, the printing press or something.
Yeah, so I came home one day and I said, Mom, listen, there's a girl in my class, she actually sells bread.
And she's making money.
She comes to class with a lot of money, and I said to her, how come you always have money? Where do you get all this money from? And she said to me, her mother manufactures bread. So the next day I went back to school and I said to her, listen, my mother wants to sell bread too. So it was my idea, it was just my entrepreneurial spirit, one of the many.
Very impressive. Now you're married.
Yes, I am married.
To an Italian.
Okay.
Was it a problem? I mean, I'm Igbo.
Yes.
And I know that culturally for us, it's always like, you must marry one of us sort of thing. Was it a problem for you breaking that to your family?
Let me try to remember. Actually, no. You know, my husband is Italian, and I feel like Italian, they're very similar to Igbo people. I don't know if I'm allowed to say that, but they're, you know, the family means a lot to them. They're very conservative. I would not have done it any other way. Would I have loved to marry a Nigerian? Maybe. But things happen at the right time, at the right place, and I just went for it.
Are you happy?
Very happy. Do I look happy?
Yes, you do.
Do I look like I'm content?
I can tell that you are.
I have 2 amazing kids. I mean, what else do I want? You know,
a daughter.
I have a 6-year-old
and
I have a 2.5-year-old. I would love to have a daughter. So maybe I'll go for 1 more or 2 more.
Now, a lot of models tend to not go the marriage route or pregnancy because it sort of affects your career. And I remember seeing you do the Victoria's Secrets with a bump.
Can you tell I was pregnant?
I think it was a very slight bump. Then I think you did an interview where you talked about that. Why did you do that? Weren't you scared for your career, getting married and getting pregnant as a supermodel?
You know, I started very early. I started at 17. So by the time I was 25, that's already 7 years of modeling. And I did everything, even before I was 25 years old. So when Luca proposed to me, I was like, okay, let me think about it. The usual shakara, you know. So for me, I've always wanted to have kids. I love being a mother. I love to have more kids.
So it wasn't a problem for you?
It wasn't a problem at all. Initially, when I was pregnant, I was petrified. Obviously, about my body, would I get back in shape? But I'm so skinny and so tall. I have so much room for the for the belly itself. By the time I had the baby, I was ready to bounce back to work.
Now I know I said that you didn't have a lot of controversies in the past, but there was a rumor that came out when Agbani won Miss World. There was this rumor then that you guys were not friends. She had moved to New York, and there was this catfight on who would be the supermodel.
Oh.
And I know you guys are friends now, but was that ever true?
Friends.
Was that ever true?
I never heard about this story.
It wasn't tabloids yet.
Really?
Yes.
Like local ones?
Yes.
Oh, I never heard about this story. Listen, I mean, she's an amazing woman.
Yes.
We're friends. She moved to New York. I only met her much later, like 2-3 years afterwards. I never heard about this. This is my first time hearing this.
Why do you think it's been tough since you, for like another Nigerian to break into that sort of supermodel status? Like we thought that, okay, you had opened all of these doors for us, and then since then nothing major has happened for anybody else. I mean, I know we have a lot of wonderful models here. Why has it been so tough for that to happen since then?
You mean for them to work internationally?
Yeah, and do it big.
For me, I think I was at the right place at the right time, and I'm very inquisitive. You know, I'm very hardworking too. So I can't answer that question, to be honest. But for me, I just think I was at the right place at the right time, and I'm always thinking, what else can I do? How can I get better? You know, you have to want it for you to be successful. Success will not just come and be served to you in a plate, you know.
Yeah.
So for me, I worked really hard. I can't answer that question. And to be honest, fashion industry on the continent of Africa, it's not so big to the extent where
you can export models.
Yes,
easily.
exactly. Like my Brazilian friends, for instance, fashion industry in Brazil is so big, so they get to be trained extremely well before sending them out. In Africa, some of them go by themselves if they can afford to,
and just try.
and then just try. But most of my other girls, like the Russian girls, they're trained, extremely trained. By the time they get to New York, they're on fire, like they're there to win. But we African girls, we're like so timid, so shy, insecure, we're not outspoken, we're not trained. I happen to be an exception. You know, am I allowed to say that? I just happen
but
to
you are. You are an exception.
I just happen to be an exception.
It just hasn't happened since then, and it's been 13 years, like you said.
Yeah,
but we're going to get to...
Listen, we're working on Africa's Next Top Model, and I think that's a great platform to sort of train the girls before you send them out to the West.
We're going to get to the reason why you're here, which is, of course, the Africa's Next Top Model. But before that, I want to go touch on something again that was sort of interesting, because I know you're very guarded with your emotions, and like you said, you keep your private life very private. But you had this recent tweet, like an outburst recently that shocked even me. And you said, let me just quote something. You said, I am disgusted by human behavior. Money is not the root of all evil. Greedy humans are the root of all evil. Hopefully, I don't throw up soon. Bunch of ingrates. Bunch of inconsiderate animals. What was this about?
That's my Twitter account.
I almost said...
My Twitter account is for me to express myself.
Yeah, what was the problem?
Freedom
it seemed
of
like
speech.
it was... Was it a professional problem?
You have your own Twitter account. I'm allowed to say what I want.
You're a public personality, so anything you say in that sort of a platform is going to be taken like...
Listen, I don't wake up walking around looking at myself as a public figure. I just think I'm just me, and I should be allowed to just express myself the way I want to. But it was just one of those days. I had a bad day, and I'm allowed to do that, you know.
Okay, let's go on to the reason why you're here, of course.
Okay.
Today is the launch of Africa's Next Top Model.
Yeah.
Finally.
Finally.
It debuts today at 6 p.m., I think.
6 p.m. West African time, 7 South African time, and 8 East African time.
How did you get... This is such a major franchise. I know there's a German one with Heidi Klum.
Yes.
You are doing the African one. I think this is the only continental one.
Yes, this is the only continental one.
How did you get... I mean, it seems like a major big deal.
You know, I was initially approached to be the host of the show with a different production company. And that didn't fall through. You know, they couldn't pull it off. And I said to myself, I really want to do this. And like everything else in Africa, if you want something, my perspective is you have to go out there and get it done, which is exactly what I did. I couldn't just be the host, so I had to be the executive producer. So I got the franchise and just put the whole thing together. Got a production company, got Mnet involved as our broadcasting partner. So
it looks like a very tough order, though. I mean, going around the continent to look for girls. Were you excited with the kind of girls you found?
It was, in some countries it was easy. In other countries it was difficult. Were there a lot of turnout? Yes, a lot of girls showed up. But we have 12 amazing girls from across the continent, and we shot the entire episodes. So I can't wait to see. Are you going to watch it?
Can you give us like a sneak peek of what to expect?
On today's, I mean...
on the season, like who won?
No, I can't tell you who won. I would be giving away the show. If I tell you who won, I would be giving away the show.
You can tell me, I won't tell them.
Yeah, but they're watching, they can hear us.
Yeah. A lot of drama?
Yes, absolutely. Oh, what to expect on the show. There's a lot of drama, you know, obviously having girls from everywhere across Africa living together in one house, it's drama. Yeah. But it's a nice, I think, you know, some of the objective of the show is just to give them an opportunity. Yes, absolutely.
And also to train them, like you said.
Exactly, to prove that they can make it. But it also exposes like all the riches of African culture, all our many creative talents that don't get the sort of credit they deserve through mainstream television. And then it closes the fashion entertainment gap between Africa and the rest of the world. Keep in mind, this show has been done everywhere else. They've done UK Next Top Model, Germany, China, Australia, you name it. So for me as an African young adult woman, I struggled with the fact that why can Africa have its own, you know, Next Top Model? So we've worked really hard. I think the quality of production is extremely amazing. And a part of me is nervous because it's going out today, because I've worked on this for so long, like 2 years now. And then a part of me is also excited because I feel like
finally.
Yes.
What's the winner? What's in it for the winner?
She gets a 1-year modeling contract, which is worth about $100,000 with the agency that represents me in New York.
Oh, great.
Yeah, and then we also give her some sort of cash prize, which is $50,000.
Impressive.
So it's not such a bad deal. Yeah, I wish I got
to change anybody's life.
Exactly. That's a lot of money for a girl in her early 20s.
Great stuff. So I'll be looking forward to watching it. But I just want to go back to something you mentioned earlier about, you know, your body form and staying thing and all of that.
Yes.
What are we going to see? Is that because I know with Tyra's Own, which is America's Next Top Model, there's all sorts of body types and all of that. Did you do that with yours?
We tried that when we were scouting. One of my intentions was hoping to find a plus size, you know, model. We found a couple, but you know, when you have to decide, will she be appropriate for this reality TV show or not? That was a bit of a challenge. So we just ended up not having a plus size on the show. But that being said, hopefully there will be many other seasons and we'll give them that sort of chance.
I know it's something that a lot of people talk about, you know, with the sort of body forms. African models are sort of different from what you find in Europe. And even in America, a lot of, over there is like you have to be stick thin. Do you feel that pressure when you're there? I mean, I know you had a workout video once after you gave birth and all of that. How much of a pressure is it?
You know, models are models. Whether you're African, you're Asian, you're Jamaican, you have to have a sample size. So this idea of Africans are built differently sounds like, you know, nonsense to me. If you're a model, you have to have sample size because designers make the sample size on your body. When they go into mass production, they do sizes for all kinds of women. Yeah. So that's not you don't think that's the reason why Africans haven't made it as big as their counterparts abroad? Not because of the way we are built? When you say Africans, that sounds a bit confusing because you have the African American women as well. They represent women of color. So if you're saying, I mean, we have Alekwek, we have Leah Kebede, you know, we have Iman, and then there's a young generation of Africans doing extremely well as well. I can't remember all their names now. There's Jack, I can't remember all their names, but there are a lot of African women doing well right now.
So just remind us again, it says 6 p.m. today?
6 p.m. today.
Okay, it premieres in Nigeria at 6 p.m.
Yes.
Channel 151 DSTV. Thank you very much, Oluchi, for being here. You've been great.
That was quite easy.
Because you are controversy free. And it's so annoying. Like, I have nothing to dig into.
Don't worry, you will never have anything to dig into.
That's a good thing, actually.
Having me.
Keep up the good work.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for joining us. As I always say, you can join the conversation on Twitter at YNigerTV is the handle, and the hashtag is Rubbing Minds. Also, the website yniger.com/TV. Remember, you've never seen young people talk like this before. I'll see you next week.